Smart glasses getting face recognition shows a very clear development. Privacy is becoming a joke. The power that companies now have over our decisions goes further than any government in the past or in the present was ever able to exert. While at the same time the destruction of your privacy is presented as something you actually want. In this video we will go through how we are being fooled and what we can expect for the future. But first, how did we get here? Well, before the internet even happened, states were the main actors trying to limit your privacy through mass surveillance. This, however, took an insane amount of work and registration. For example, everything had to be registered on physical paper. This took money, manpower, and above all, an insane amount of time. Luckily, the internet came around and it seemed like a gift from heaven at first. It was free and you were able to now broadcast your thoughts to anybody that wanted to listen to them any moment. However, there was a little catch to this. Companies like Facebook and Google started looking for ways to make money out of this whole internet thing. And they found ads. If you show millions of ads to millions of people millions of times, you will make millions of dollars. And ads are still the main driver of income on the internet, which is made clear once again by the struggle OpenAI is having. If your way of money is showing ads to people, you want people to be on the platform for as long as possible so that you can actually show them more ads. And to understand what you were actually interested in to show you the right ads, these companies installed cookies on your computer. Every website that you went onto on the internet, they were looking at what you were doing by the second. If you lingered just a little bit too long, they noticed. If you clicked on a product, they noticed. You're not just being tracked by Facebook or Google when you are on Facebook or Google, you're being tracked wherever you go on the internet. Even though the internet looked free, you had become the product. And to keep you on their platforms for as long as possible, social media companies introduced the AI-driven algorithm. The algorithm made you a specifically tailor-made feed based on your preferences, without you even knowing what those preferences were. Without us really knowing about it, we were being drawn more and more into these social media platforms through these algorithms. Some of the things that specifically worked here were pretty harmful. For example, showing people more and more radical content, or showing kids content that would further and further socially isolate them and make them depressed. And especially for children, spending a lot of time on these social media platforms was specifically unhealthy. You see, as humans and as kids especially, we are shaped by our surroundings. Our surroundings create who we are. So these algorithms actively started to influence our beliefs and ruining our attention span, only to keep us scrolling for longer. This led to what we nowadays call algorithmic bubbles, in which you could be living with somebody in the same street but have completely different beliefs. Now, this has a very negative effect on our mental health and it tends to lead to social isolation altogether. And then the next step was the smartphone. Suddenly everybody had a little device in their pocket that could do everything. It had a GPS tracker, a camera, a microphone, and at some point even facial recognition. And we kept it so close to us that it even slept on our bedside table. This made it possible for these companies to make the surveillance even bigger, even more continuous, even more personalized. And even though we paid handsomely for these smartphones itself, the platforms remained free to use. We remained the product. Now, as we uploaded our pictures, our opinions, and we tagged our friends along the way, the algorithm got to know us better than anybody else. And as it was shaping us, it was gathering more and more data, none of which you actually own, by the way. If you delete your account, the data will probably still be stored somewhere. But there was still one fundamental barrier. It was not able to see the world through your eyes. And that is about to change right now as well. Enter smart glasses. With the onset of large language models like Claude and ChatGPT on the one hand, and smart glasses like the Meta Ray-Bans, we are entering into a whole new era of the death of privacy. LLMs don't need other people to connect you with anymore. They are able to fully immerse you into their conversations and gather all your data and information along the way. And the companies behind the smart glasses are now actually able to experience, to see the world as we are and to gather that data. And now, as facial recognition is being added to smart glasses as well, you are also invading the privacy of everybody in your line of sight by wearing them. Just a few decades ago, it was a very tedious and expensive job to gather information about individuals, and states had a very tough time doing so. Nowadays, an algorithm can find out more about you than anybody else knows in the world in a few seconds. And their focus seems to be shifting from just showing you ads to make money to getting you immersed into their little platforms, into their little worlds. If we don't limit this, more and more data will be collected in more and more profound ways, and privacy will more and more become a concept of the past. Thanks for watching. If you agree, disagree, or have any thoughts about the subject, please leave them below in the comments. And if you want to, please drop a like and subscribe. Ciao!